In 2026, live well in the rhythm of your own steps. That is exactly the theme ABC wants to share with you today. It is a reflection from ABC's bookshelf of classic works through a masterpiece called Walden by the American writer, poet, and philosopher Henry David Thoreau. And now, please listen to today's reflection through this video. There was a man who never followed the rhythm of other people's steps. In 1833, there was a very outstanding young man, and that was Thoreau. He was admitted to Harvard University, and whenever he had free time, he often wrote essays and published articles in newspapers. He did this only because he liked it, not because he saw it as something to pursue for achievement. He also read a great many books, but he never wanted to follow the old roads of those who came before him. He chose to live according to his own path. Thoreau lived in the 19th century, at a time when the American economy was rising, and society as a whole was making great strides toward industrial civilization. In that era, everyone was racing anxiously along the road of life. Some people knew how to seize the opportunity, and they prospered like kites in the wind. Wealth was quickly accumulated, and they became the leaders of their age. Others still wanted to remain attached to the work handed down by their grandparents and parents. Though they struggled, they did not fall behind. Some gave up that race and returned to the countryside to run farms. And some, no matter how hard they tried, were still left far behind others. In the eyes of many people, Thoreau at that time was one of those left behind, a pitiful man who could never move forward. After graduating, Thoreau worked as a journalist for a newspaper, but his manuscripts were not approved by the editor-in-chief. He also ran and built a private school with his brother, but in the end it failed. After that, he worked in his father's pencil factory. In this job, he was very successful, because after making improvements, he himself produced a kind of pencil with a technology that had never existed before. And this was also the opportunity that could have made him a great deal of money and turned him into a wealthy man. Yet Thoreau decided not to continue expanding production, but instead chose to stop doing that work. Because to him, if every day was spent repeating the same work just for the sake of making money, it was truly very boring. He did not want to endure the torment of repetitive work, nor the constraints of life, only for the sake of having a beautiful house or a luxurious meal like everyone else. So, the result was that while the people around him were becoming richer and richer, Thoreau became poorer and poorer. He could not even afford the rent, and whenever someone advised him saying, "You ought to learn from others," Thoreau firmly replied, "I would rather sit on a pumpkin and have it all to myself than be crowded on a velvet cushion. I would rather ride on earth in an ox cart, free to move about, than go to heaven in the fancy car of an excursion train and breathe the foul air all the way." In his view, the most important thing in life was not to surpass others or keep up with one's friends. Achieving success like everyone else was not certain to bring true happiness to oneself. What mattered was that each of us had to find our own tempo and rhythm. And because he was a person who did not follow the rhythm of those around him, someone who did not let any rule restrain him, these very things shaped Henry David Thoreau, a writer, poet, naturalist, thinker, pioneer of transcendentalism, and also a philosopher of nature, and of the relationship between nature and human life. It can be said that he was one of the few American writers after the 20th century to have such influence and to be loved by readers all over the world. Walk in the rhythm of your own steps. And so, at the age of 28, when most people were chasing money and material things, Thoreau gave up everything and, with a borrowed axe, went to the pine woods beside Walden Pond. There he chopped wood, built a house, and cleared wasteland. And it was also from that place that he saw for himself the beautiful scenery of Walden Pond. He spent a very long time building the house, all alone, and with only an axe in hand. Every day on the way back from the woods, he would hear the shrill singing of birds filling the sky. In winter, he cut wood to prepare the necessary materials, and when spring came, the frame of his house was finally completed. Thoreau used a little of his savings to buy scrap wood and began decorating the inside of his hut. In this way, with his own 2 hands, not rushed, not pressured, and not lazy either, he slowly, peacefully, and at ease built a home for himself. For the next 2 years, he kept company with mountains and rivers and the stars, talking with birds, the lake, and fish. Thoreau's thoughts drifted freely in the stillness of nature and of a simple life. In the end, they were distilled into the classic work Walden: a quiet pond, a self-built wooden house, forests all around, accompanied by birdsong. Thoreau's life by Walden Pond moved the hearts of countless readers all over the world. Walden influenced American literature, influenced the social movements of Gandhi and Martin Luther King, and also influenced countless modern people who long for a peaceful life of their own. He said, "Men have become the tools of their tools." And he also said, "A man will only succeed if he advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined." On the road of life, like a marathon race, everyone is running in different directions and at different speeds. Some succeed early, some bloom very late, some live out an ordinary life, and some are eliminated from the game very soon. A person's dreams, abilities, ideas, or even luck can all become variables that set him apart from others. We will never be able to move in step with everyone, nor will we ever be able to advance or retreat together with others. And if you keep watching how far you have gone, how much you have obtained, then you may lose the rhythm of your own steps. Only by following your own speed, by living well in your own rhythm, can we firmly overcome storms and step into fresh new lands in our own lives. Only by stepping in your own rhythm can you persevere through every challenge. When Thoreau arrived at Walden Pond, there were countless difficulties in front of him that had to be solved. The first was how he could survive in such a desolate forest. During the time he was building his house, because he had to cut wood and carry materials from early morning, every day he had to use a great deal of strength. But his finances were tight, and he did not have enough time to farm. So every day he could only deal with hunger by eating cornmeal and purslane. Many nearby villagers advised him not to live there, because a person could not live without bread or pork. How could he possibly get such things in that forest? But Thoreau proved to them that even with only cornmeal and vegetables, he could still remain healthy. In truth, the real challenge for Thoreau was not starving to death, but the winter there. Winter by the pond lasted about 3 to 4 months, and on days of heavy snowfall, Thoreau's wooden house was as freezing as an ice house. But he still had many ways to help himself endure the cold. He climbed into the snow-covered woods, brought old logs back home to keep the fire burning day and night, and plastered the walls more thickly. Throughout that winter, when few people came by, every cold night, Thoreau would watch the flickering flames and listen to the wind blowing outside the house. He seemed to hear in that wind, sweeping across the mountain slopes, something like a heroic symphony. In this very way, Thoreau always felt happy even in conditions that seemed impossible. There were also many people who tried to persuade him to go find a proper job, or at least to do odd jobs on a farm. But Thoreau said, "I want to go up the mountains slowly, freely picking berries. What I desire is not much to begin with, so why should I do things I do not like and exhaust myself?" The difficult days at Walden not only failed to break Thoreau's original intention, but instead gave him strength and made him want to devote himself fully to life. You see, once someone has resolved to live for himself, he can keep a calm and optimistic attitude in the face of every danger and hardship that comes. He will walk in his own rhythm, not panicking, not being impatient, not disturbed by the noise of the outside world, and not fearing or surrendering before difficulties right in front of him. No matter what your choice is, no matter what kind of life you choose to live, you will never be able to avoid the trials of fate. What we need to do is nurture within ourselves a truly strong heart. Always keep ourselves calm, stir up courage, be brave, and keep walking persistently on the very path we have chosen. Steps in the right rhythm lead us toward happiness. In this book, Thoreau vividly tells us about a way of living. It was a summer morning, and he was rowing a small boat drifting on the calm surface of the lake. When he reached the middle of the lake, Thoreau lay on his back and fell asleep without realizing it. When he woke up, he found that the water had pushed the boat to the shore. He said that his heart was as free as a bird. Although the days at Walden were very difficult, Thoreau experienced a peace and joy he had never known before. Every day, he had visitors from nature. Sometimes it was a breeze carrying the scent of flowers, sometimes a shy little sparrow, and sometimes a foolish little rabbit that had wandered off course. Whenever Thoreau entered the forest, he always felt that the powerful, primitive vitality within him had been awakened. And when night fell, first from the distant horizon came the sound of cattle lowing. Right after that came the sound of dogs barking, of wind, and of running water. Nature's symphony made him feel not at all lonely, even when he was alone in the deserted night. In the book, Thoreau could not restrain his emotion and expressed that, "My heart is forever free, while I am confined here." Joy and happiness were always overflowing in his house. In that state of freedom, Thoreau began to meditate and reflect on philosophy. He observed the world and all things outside him. At the same time, he discovered the true nature of his inner self. He also read a great deal, wrote a great deal, and met many people with deep understanding. The days he spent by the pond were the period that reshaped him. He was not a failure who achieved nothing, nor was he a recluse hiding away because he was disillusioned with life. He was a person who lived with all his heart, like a tree rooting itself deep and firm in the earth, while never forgetting to look up at the vast sky above. Thoreau's story reminds me of this saying by Haruki Murakami: "No matter what anyone else in the world says, I trust my own feelings as the truth. No matter what others think, I will never break my own rhythm. Whatever we like, we can naturally persist in. Whatever we do not like, no matter how hard we try, cannot last long. Therefore, only by doing what you like can you feel true and lasting happiness. And if every step we take is merely a copied version of someone else's life, then even if we succeed, we will not feel real joy. We will not find the true meaning of life, and we will not find the freedom within our own soul." So you need to understand yourself clearly. You need to see your own heart clearly from the very beginning, cast off the interference of the outside world, and map out a path of your own. A reader once wrote to Thoreau after reading his work, expressing the wish to follow in his footsteps and live alone in nature. Surprisingly, Thoreau firmly refused, telling him that everyone should follow the voice of his own heart and live as his own unique self. This was also the purpose for which he wrote this work. He hoped that everyone could become the Columbus of his own life. Columbus in history set out to discover a new continent, but each of us needs to find our own continent, to live in it and experience our own land. In this world, there are no two identical leaves, and there are no two people cast from the same mold. Only by following our own path can we live a life that is happy and truly meaningful to ourselves. Like a scientist once said, "The best things always appear when you least expect them." Therefore, you do not need to rush in order to catch up. In your own rhythm, you will keep moving forward day by day. Thoreau lived by the pond for only 2 years. I am sure many people would wonder, in the end, did he not still give up on his own rhythm? But Thoreau explained the reason he left, just as firmly as when he arrived. Because he wanted to experience many lives, he did not want to spend more time on this one life there. There is a truth that we very easily slip into a certain habit without even realizing it, and then gradually walk ourselves into a rut. If you become too familiar with your present joy, success, or life, then it becomes very easy to fall back into the old tracks. So many footprints have already been left on the surface of this earth, and the roads of thought are the same. The great roads of the world have become worn and dusty. The marks of tradition and worldly convention have been carved deeply into them. In the author's own experiment of living, at least he discovered one thing. If a man confidently advances in the direction of his dream and tries to live as he has dared to think and imagine, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. That means you do not necessarily have to follow the tracks of successful people in order to succeed. You can absolutely take another path and live a life that you truly desire. Why do we lower the standards of our soul in order to live with dull thoughts and repetitive work, then call it agreement with the social majority and think that it is what should be done? Why must we throw ourselves into work just to chase success, fame, or money? Some say that all work done merely to earn a living is not worth wasting one's life on, and truly that is not wrong. There is a truth in life. If a person pushes himself only to keep up with the steps of those of the same age, it may be because he has heard the sound of challenge. He must catch up with someone, he must satisfy some need. And those steps also come from ways of thinking that have been molded by this life. We have put all kinds of shapes and symbols onto everything around us. But in the end, only truth can give us meaning, and only truth can stand firm before the trials of time. The truth here is the answer to one question. Do you truly feel happy with your life right now? No matter how modest your life may be, you still must live wholeheartedly. You still must live well in your own rhythm. Never run away, and do not resent it or complain about it either. No matter how difficult it is, you must pour your enthusiasm into your present life. Even if you live in a narrow place, you can still find joy and light there. Just as Confucius advised, do not be too eager to seek advancement, and do not depend too much on outside forces. All of that is useless. Excess wealth can only buy excess things. But the things the soul truly needs can be obtained without money. The book Walden will certainly leave different emotions in each reader. We do not need complete agreement, and we do not need everyone to approve. But if you are carrying resentment or dissatisfaction with what you have, or if you are under pressure from what you desire, from the things you are striving after, or if you do not know what to do next, then I truly believe that if you immerse yourself in the original lines of this work, you will find for yourself a quiet Walden pond. And finally, there is one last sentence from the author that has left me with many reflections. He wrote, "Only that day dawns to which we are awake. There is more day to dawn. The sun is but a morning star." In the note, the morning star here is compared to a direction that guides us. Thoreau hoped that in the rest of our lives, all of us could discover a new direction with our own steps, and also experience a completely different life. Because life does not depend on how much one has, but on experience. Wishing all of us that we can step out of the beaten path, find what we truly love, and live well in the rhythm of our own steps. Finally, thank you all for listening. Goodbye, and see you again in the next videos.